Hello, I'm Adam Barralet, and it's a brand new month. Welcome to September 2022. Here I'm going to explore all the different things that are going to be happening in the heavens, how that's going to influence us in here on Earth, as well as how Mother Earth supports us with her beautiful gifts from both the plant kingdom in the way of essential oils, as well as from the mineral kingdom in the way of crystals. So, as we dive into September, the first 10 days, pretty cruisy. The first thing that's going to actually be happening is going to be the full moon. Now, the full moon is going to be in Pisces. This is a really exciting full moon because Pisces, of course, is a sign that represents our spirituality. This is the most spiritual full moon of the entire lunar calendar or the entire year. It's a really great time to realign with your spiritual focus on your spiritual priorities and even with your spiritual team. Who's your spiritual team? Well, these are your angels, your ancestors, your guides, your totems, whatever guidance system you feel is around to support you and help you to be your best. This is a great time to put some goals in motion of making a bigger contribution to the world, fulfilling your destiny and actually understanding why you're here. You may want to dive in and explore your astrology to give you a blueprint of where you're meant to be heading, or consult a reader or a clairvoyant, or if you use tarot cards or oracle cards yourself, get a bit of guidance. And then on that night of the full moon, sit down and go, make an agreement with the universe. Universe, this is my goal, and I'm asking you for your support and bringing in some signs and some synchronicities to guide me along my way. Now, during this time, Howlite is a really beautiful crystal to work with. Why I love Howlite and why I love it with Pisces is that it is such a beautiful, peaceful kind of energy. And when we think about our spirituality, I don't want you to think, now I've got another thing that I've got to do on top of my job and my children and my family and my partner and my dog and all these different things. Spirituality is about slowing down. It's about reprioritizing and realizing what's most important to you and making sure that you're not getting filled up with doing too much of the extra distractions. Howlite encourages peacefulness. It also encourages nice, gentle, soft dreams. And so it helps us not only dream at night, but live the life of our dreams. So by wearing it during the day or putting a small bit in your pillow slip or by your bed, you'll find that you dream more, so you're getting those messages day and night. Around the full moon in Pisces, slow down. Take some time to yourself. Spend some time in water, whether it be taking a bath or taking a swim or dancing in the rain or putting some water out and catching the moon's reflection in it and then drinking or bathing or using that in some sacred way. Bring that energy in as well. Now, the essential oil that I love is jasmine. Jasmine has this really interesting dance in its energy between yin and yang. And when you think about what makes a full moon, if you imagine my head is the earth, to get a full moon, we have the sun on one side and we have the moon on the other. So we have the masculine energy on one side of the earth, and in perfect balance on the other side, we have the moon, the feminine. And so we know when the masculine and feminine come together, that's where creation works. So that's why the full moon is great for creation. Jasmine has that dance of masculine and feminine energies within it. It's also very magical, very euphoric. It lifts our emotional state up, and when we feel good, we're in higher vibration and we can attract things into our life as well. Being a white flower, it's connected to the moon, having those little stars of flowers that blossom at night, just like the stars up above. It brings down the heaven into earth and allows our earth experience to be more heavenly as well. So during the full moon in Pisces, I'll have my jasmine and my howlite nearby. I'll also need to make sure that I'm really taking time to slow down at that point in time, because on the same day, Mercury goes into retrograde. Now, when a planet goes into retrograde, it takes its supporting energy away, and we're on our own to see how we do. Now, Mercury, depending on which sign it's in, will influence the Mercury retrograde. So it's going to be in two signs. So from the 10th of September through to the 24th, it's going to be in Libra. Now, Librans, what do we know about Librans? Well, they're beautiful, they're kind-hearted, but they bloody take their time deciding what to do, what they want to wear or what they're going to have for dinner, don't they? Yes. And what you're going to find, this beautiful trying to find balance and harmony energy of Libra will really be affected during this 10th to the 24th. There's going to be a lot of indecision at this point in time, and it may get frustrating for you. You may feel a little bit confused, but you also may find that other people are taking their time as well. This is also going to be diplomacy challenges, because no one will commit or no one will kind of help with that balance, which is a very Libran energy. You need to be very careful with your words and how you act, and this is probably not a good time to bring groups together where we're trying to come to an agreement. Libra also is about beauty, and so this is not a good time to make any style changes, and it's not a good time to make too many purchases where you're going to be buying things that will be for aesthetics, furniture, clothing, and so on. But to help you during this time, if you need to bring a bit more energy in, because we can't just sit around for 14 days, sapphires. Blue sapphires are really good. They help with the third eye chakra to help us get very clear on what we want, so they can help a bit more with decisiveness and understanding what we want. Combine that with geranium. Now, geranium is really good for bringing in that harmony. It ensures equal give and equal take. So to be clear on what you want and to make sure it's fair during this Mercury retrograde in Libra, sapphires, wearing or carrying, and geranium, using it in, on, around you, get it just in your energy sphere, that's going to support you as well. Now, on the 24th of September until the 2nd of October, that is where you're going to find Mercury is going to go backwards into the sign of Virgo. Now, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so this can be quite influential. What do we know about Virgos? We know how productive they are. You know, sometimes they're accused of being OCD, but they're just trying to get everything in harmony or imperfect to heal the world. Virgos are our healers. So for all of us, what we'll find during the Mercury retrograde in Virgo could be a bit of a frustrating time. There'll be productivity delays. There may be crankiness with you and with other people around co-workers, and you've got to make sure you don't get too nitpicky or too naggy in that type of way. So just be really careful with your, your communication, making sure that you're not nagging or being too picky or being too choosy. You want to kind of soften that down a little bit. This is where Leopardskin Jasper. It's a beautiful stone. And of course, many of these crystals and oils, I have separate YouTube videos you can dive in deeper about and explore more about them. But Leopardskin Jasper really brings this sense of patience and calm. Things are going to get slowed down during Virgo. Look at why they're getting slowed down. How can you improve productivity in the future? Remember, there's always a lesson in a retrograde, but it's going to do no good nagging or getting agitated or getting cranky at all. To help with that patience as well, Magnolia. Magnolia is another beautiful, almost a lunar kind of flower as well, but she comes from a very old species of tree. In fact, Magnolia species of trees have been on this earth longer than bees. They used to rely on beetles to pollinate them. So whereas something like Jasmine has a very kind of princess or queenly energy, Magnolia is like the queen mother. She brings that patience. She's high in something called linalool, which makes things like lavender relaxing, even higher linalool than lavender. So very relaxing, very calming. Let's go of the critic that criticizes ourselves and criticizes other people. So if you find yourself getting a little bit cranky, get your Magnolia, get your Leopardskin Jasper. Just show some patience to both yourself and other people. So that's Mercury retrograde. 10th to 24th is Libra. 24th until the 2nd of October is going to be in Virgo. Then, 6 days later, on the 16th, we have an asteroid going retrograde. Now, asteroids, because they're not as big as the planets, they're not going to have as massive influence on everyone. But I wanted to point this out, especially because I really love this asteroid and I love the goddess it's named after, Artemis. So Artemis is the goddess of the moon. She's the goddess of the wild, of the hunt, of childbirth, and of chastity, funnily enough. She was the goddess who, instead of getting a husband like all the other gods and goddesses decided to do, she said, I don't want a partner, daddy. I just want to hang out with my girl nymphs in the forest and live my life. So she's very much about following our own path, doing what we want to do. And when she goes into retrograde, she's going to go away and you're going to start to feel maybe an urge to conform, or that people are taking your freedoms away. And remember that how we live our life and freedom is very much a state of mind, more than a state of life. What you'll also see is where you feel that you are being pushed into conformity and how you don't want to be. So this is a great time to check in, go, what do I want in life? I know I see like my brother and my sister sometimes have that pressure to, quick, I need to find a partner. Quick, I need to have kids. Quick, I need to do this. Why? Because everyone else is doing this. Artemis didn't care what everyone else was doing. She listened to her heart. So during this time when you feel these urgings to be like everyone else, listen, do you really want to be like everyone else? Or are you just feeling that pressure from society? To help you with this, there's a beautiful essential oil, which Latin name is actually Artemisia, after Artemis, Palens. It's known as Divana. Lesser known oil, but the cool thing about this, if we were all sitting in a circle now, and we roll a bit on my wrist, and then roll a bit on someone else's wrist, and some on yours and someone else's. Some people, it smells very green and leafy. Others quite floral, others earthy, and others quite woody. It brings out a unique scent. It brings out a unique magic. It celebrates our uniqueness. It helps us to appreciate our own uniqueness and realize that we have our own path and our own way of living life, and that other people have theirs, and not to judge ourselves or others for being different for that. Really beautiful and really cool to play around with that different scent. If you're deciding that you do want to go off on your own path, this is where Labradorite's really great. I find Labradorite is often called to people when they first get involved in spirituality in the New Age. And why? Because it's got that sparkle that is very protective. You know, when we get interested in spirituality or the New Age, it's very rare that our family and friends all hold our hands and we skip down the New Age path together. Suddenly we become a bit of a black sheep or a little bit of a weirdo in that kind of way. We start going off on our own path, like the Fool in the Tarot. And Labradorite helps to protect the Fool, who follows their heart rather than follows what everyone else should do. So when that's challenged during Artemis retrograde from the 16th of September onwards, then lean into your Labradorite and your Divana. Now, another small asteroid which I'm also very passionate about on the 22nd goes retrograde. This is Pan. Now, Pan is one of the Greek gods who had no temples built for him. Why? Because his temples were the forests, the great trees, and the grottos. He was the god of the wilderness. He was also had the hindquarters of a horse or a goat, and then the ears as well. He was wild, he was debaucherous, he lived his life exactly how he wanted to. It's words like panic that come from the word pan, and pandemonium as well. So, what Pan evokes in us is that wild side, going out and being who we want to be and just having fun, getting a little bit wild, whatever that may be in your life. And what you'll find from the 22nd of September onwards, you'll feel that wildness is kind of not there as much. You're not as enthused, or you're not as wild, or you feel again, there's that kind of inhibition. So this is going to be a really great time to kind of get out there, get a little bit wild, and to have a bit more fun in your life. What you can do to help you with this is use a bit of Zincite. Now you can get green Zincite or orange Zincite. Most of it comes from the zinc smelters in Poland. But really, really great. This is really got a real energizing about it. There's a real lust in the Pan energy, and so it helps you with a sexual lust, but also a lust for life, and helps to make sure that you're not allowing your inhibitions to stop you making the most out of life. Zincite fires you up, gets you enthusiastic, gets you really excited. So it's a beautiful crystal to work with when Pan goes retrograde, and you find that wildness seems to be missing all of a sudden. You may also want to lean into the essential oil of summer savory. It is believed that summer savory would grow where the satyrs, which are those creatures that had the hindquarters of the horse or the goat and the ears and the top half of a man, like Pan was, summer savory would grow in those same areas. So they've got this strong connection. Really good one from a cellular level, helping you to be your best and waking yourself up to, and not letting inhibition stop you from living your full life. So those two are really good for Pan retrograde. Next, we have on the 23rd of September an equinox. This is where the Earth comes exactly and the Sun is at the equal of the equator. So this is where we have a different kind of energy depending on whether you're in the Northern Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere. Let's look at the Southern Hemisphere first of all. Well, you can see that the spring flowers, like up here, are starting to appear down here in Australia and other parts of the Southern Hemisphere. We're heading into spring, and so this is our spring equinox, which is also known as Ostara. This is the time when we go into the active part of the year. We dust off all the cold, we get out there, and just like the flowers are opening up, we open up as well. This is a really great time to focus on the throat chakra. And so this is where I'm reaching for my blue crystals like Aqua Aura Quartz. Aqua Aura Quartz helps us to communicate and be more creative in our communication. And this is actually created through fusing gold, which is a yang manifestation kind of metal, with clear quartz, which is an amplifier. So as we speak, we manifest what we speak. And this crystal helps us with this. Great to wear near the throat chakra. Being in the southern hemisphere, working with our eucalyptus oils, which are really good for the throat chakra as well. Let's breathe in fully and breathe out our intentions into the world as we step out. And I've got a great video on my YouTube channel that goes through all the different things that you can do during Ostara. Now, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're probably getting a bit of relief because it sounds like you've all had a pretty hot time over the last month or so. Things are going to start getting cooler. You're heading to your autumn equinox. This is known as Mabon. You'll slowly start to see the deciduous trees, their leaves turning into those beautiful autumn colors of reds and oranges and golds, and they're letting go of their leaves. They're letting go of what they no longer need so that they can come back into a state of simplicity during the inactive or restful or introspective half of the year. This is a time for you to focus on your base chakra, for getting back down to basics, simplifying everything in your life and getting rid of what you don't need as well. This is where I reach for my red jasper. Red jasper is a great stone of simplicity and really grounds us and helps us to find power in simplicity. Put that with a bit of clove, which is a traditional fragrance and oil and spice of Mabon, which is the autumn equinox, and clove is really great for setting clear boundaries, being clear on what you allow to come into your life and don't allow to come into your life. Now, one thing I want to point out, when the trees are letting go of their leaves, their branches aren't dropping off as well. They're letting go of what they no longer wish to have. And yes, in the world at the moment, there are a lot of things that we don't have access to. The supply chain issues, and there's inflation, and the cost of living is going up in many different places around the world. Start to focus on what you need rather than what you want. Because we're always going to have desires and yearnings, but coming back down to really nurturing what your soul needs and what you need to drive you forward and which really ignites you takes away a lot of the stress of all these excesses. Red jasper helps you with that, and clove helps you get really clear on that as well. This isn't just about material possessions. This can also about where you're devoting your energy and your time, making sure that they're nourishing you as you go into this introspective time. Let go of all the hurt, let go of all the pain, let go of anything that causes suffering. So as you get into the colder months, you can be in a more meditative state to get reacquainted with your spiritual mission. So, Beltane, or the spring equinox if you're in the southern hemisphere, or Mabon, the autumn equinox if you're in the northern hemisphere, on the 23rd of September. We're going to wrap up on the 26th with the final thing happening in the heavens. It's our new moon. It's our new moon in Libra. Libra, again, we were talking about Librans before. It's a sign of relationships. So this is a time to start thinking about what kind of relationships would I like to bring in my life. Perfectly timed at this point in time with this kind of equinox. Remember, Libra is very much about that scales balancing as well. But think about the fact that we have, in the southern hemisphere, we're looking at expanding. What do I want in my life? What new people do I want to bring in my life? And you're kind of coming down or closing down or letting go or shedding the excess if you're in the northern hemisphere. What kind of people do I want to keep in my life? And do I want more of them and spend more time with them and give the people that are important more energy? This is a really great thing to contemplate around the new moon. With our full moon in Pisces and on the 10th, that's when we're working magic and what spirituality things do I want to bring into my life. On the new moon, we're just doing a kind of a stock take, a check-in, and kind of getting clear on where we are with our life. You know, if we do want to bring different people into our lives, onyx is really good. This is a stone, a black stone, obviously, of magnetism. Onyx comes from the Latin word onyx, which means fingernail, and it's connected to Aphrodite's fingernail. It is said that her fingernail fell off and turned into stone. Aphrodite didn't chase people. She allowed them to come into her life, and onyx helps you to do that. She's also connected to myrtle, and myrtle essential oil is really good for bringing that beauty and allowing you to attract good people into your life and keep them there as well. So these are all the things that you can expect influencing you energetically from the heavens above, whether it be the sun, the moon, or a couple of different asteroids moving. A lot of our major planets are still in retrograde, so you may find that you are contemplating a lot at the moment. Go easy on yourself and just allow those lessons to help you out. But remember, Mother Earth loves us as well, and she's got these oils and these crystals to support you. I've spoken about a lot in this video, so if you look below in the show description or the episode description, I've listed all the things that are happening and all the crystals and oils I've recommended. You can then dive into the other videos on my channel to explore them a little bit more and get to understand them. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter at adambarralet.com and follow me on Instagram as Adam Barralet and on Facebook as Crystal Connections with Adam Barralet to make sure you're getting updates throughout the month to give you extra tips, and you can ask me questions there as well. Thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes. I hope that's been insightful. I'll talk to you soon. Take care and blessed be.